Yo, what's up guys? It's Reed Young, aka Shooter here. I'm doing a $50 buy-in, no limit commentary for you today. And right off the bat, I just wanted to say thank you guys for sharing the live play video. I put it up in an annotation so you can click on it and help get us to 40 likes, and I'll put out part 3 for you guys. So for this hand, we have pocket kings, we're in the small blind. We raise and the big blind just flats us. And the flop comes 9-9-7 with 2 clubs, so potential flush draw and straight draws out there. We bet $2 and a 3, which I think is a fine continuation bet size. And continuation betting this board with this hand almost every single time is going to be a good play. Every once in a while you might want to check just to keep a few strong hands in your checking range. To balance the times, you want to check something like, ace 3 of spades and try to get to showdown with it. So we bet and we get raised. So immediately we have a bluff catcher facing multiple streets of aggression. So obviously we do want to call down some of the time here, and pocket kings is a very strong hand for our range. So I think we're definitely at least calling the flop. I think 3-betting the flop would probably be a mistake against most players' ranges, and that is because I would expect to get 4-bet on by a very strong range or called by a very strong range. So a flop 3-bet doesn't accomplish that much. If he does have a hand like Queen Jack, I think he just always folds it, or most people always fold it. And if he has 10-8, I wouldn't necessarily expect him to go wild here. Probably expecting us to be 3-betting a lot of hands like a 9 or the nut flush draw, trying to induce a shove from a worse draw. So it's not like he's going to misplay his range, where like a lot of people in the past, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, would just get in any type of draw that they raised on this flop, just predicting that their opponent would be bluffing or maybe not even thinking about what's going on. I think these days people are a lot more competent. So just 3-betting to get in, pretty much any decent hand on this board is going to get you into trouble against a good and thinking player. So I think 3-betting is usually out. However, there's certain dynamics that could warrant it, where, maybe you would see an opponent raising a hand like ace 7 and then putting in a lot of money after you 3-bet, just thinking that your range is very weighted toward draws. So all that considered, we decided to flat the flop, and the turn is an offsuit ace. So it's not the best card for our hand because the nut flush draw improves to the best hand. So a pair of aces now beats us. We check, and he bets about 2/3 pot, and we decided to call again. I think it's okay, just so our entire calling range isn't, a 9. And then if we are 3-betting the nut flush draw on the flop to induce shoves from a few worse draws, or just to balance out our a 3-bet bluffing range to combat his potential flop raising range, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble here because we're just not going to have a strong hand on the turn that often. So we do need some hands to call with, and again I think kings are okay as a part of that range. So we do call again. The river is a 9, and we check, and now the big blind bets full pot. And you guys can see our reads on this guy. He seems pretty tight, and the person who posted the hand is kind of saying like, well, I've come this far and now I have to call, right? I don't think that's the case, and I think a huge indicator of why you might not want to call here is his bet size. And so just chiefly speaking from an exploitive standpoint, I don't think many people would choose a default bet size of 36 here. And to me, this looks like a bet size that's targeting something like a pair of aces. Now it's possible we bet called the flop with like ace jack, just expecting to see a draw a lot of the time, and that we improved on the turn. And so I think there are a decent amount of ace-x hands in our range, potentially, or at least our opponent thinks there might be. Also, I think a lot of people just get wrapped up in the absolute value of their hand. So thinking like, oh, I have a full house here. Like if we have a hand like we do with pocket kings, we might overvalue it. So if he bets 36, we still call it, you know, the same amount of time as if he bet a smaller bet like 22. If he has quads, then he just makes more money. And I don't think he would try to bluff us off of a hand like a 7 with a bet size of 36. I think he would just choose 22 or a similar size bet, hoping that we understand the situation and that we're just going to be folding. So I think I would fold here, and against a better balanced player, which I'm not assuming this this tighter $50 buy-in no limit regular is. I just think people aren't bluffing here, and especially not for this river size. So if you think about what an explosive size means, it means he's catering his hand to our range. And if he can do that, then he's going to be able to outplay us. There's no right decision that we can make. Of course, you know, he could be doing that incorrectly and we can try to outguess him, but I think he's kind of tipped his hand to us here with his bet size. And given our reads and given the buy-in level, I think I would just fold this one. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Share it with a poker buddy, and if you hit that like button, it only takes a second, but it helps me out a ton. I would appreciate it. Take care, guys.